So we're here to solve this tapa by Serkan, and it's a variation that's going to have actually two tapas involved, so we'll have to be somewhat careful as we work through this and probably choosing different colors to be using. One thing for sure is around the 7, we're going to be shading in one single thing, and I'm trying to see actually quickly in some of the other spaces where we might be able to, for instance, hypothesize, like say there were a different tapa that weren't in this dark gray color, we'd be getting a scenario like this where we've got to come through, and in doing that, around this 1, 1, 1, we're going to have some issues with getting, for instance, this clue fulfilled. And my guess is throughout this puzzle, the central set of cells that are all marked with 1s are going to be quite limiting for what we do. But right away, at least what I see is that around this 1, 1, 1 in the center, the dark gray clue is still the clue that's involved here, and we fulfilled it. And we fulfilled that 7, and the 2, 3 will be a dark gray clue as well somehow. Notice we've got to make the 2, 3 valid, and if I took this cell, it couldn't be valid, so this is the extra cell for that, and that will finish that clue. So we still need to get, and one thing we may just do to help ourselves, let's just actually mark in a lot of these forced edges around all these 1, 1s, kind of making what I think is the thematic Faraday cage isolated space very clear. Some of what that does is it's going to put in pretty quickly in some other colors, stuff like where we've got the shape of the 2, 4 clue that comes near this. The look of this, I'm trying to see, like a cell like this is always isolated, so it can't be used, and so whatever's in red is going to stay in red, and it's going to need to keep extending here. And in doing this, it's actually now showing itself to be the 2, 3 clue as well as the 1, 4 clue. And so look at this, everything red is still part of this dark gray. So I'll just come back here and mark these in consistently. I guess I don't know anything there yet. I've got this 1, 4 in the grid. I've got to get 3 more cells marked around this 2, 3, and these 2 clues are both going to be the same color. And in doing that, I think I can take this cell, but I can't take this cell too. So this is 2, 3, this is 1, 4, those clues are okay. And there's going to be an edge of the top of here, and that's going to be pretty limiting, I think, as we actually will see in terms of keeping stuff connected. So this dark gray on the lower right actually has to come through a pretty narrow set of channels. It's got to come through these cells to get in, and got to come through this cell to get in. So right now we've isolated a lot of the grid. Coming through here, now this edge is being marked off, and so for this to stay connected, we're going to need to have these top of bits come up here, and again this cell is going to have to keep coming around. And so these look to be choke point cells, which means for sure these clues are the first ones from the other tapa. We actually have not needed to consider the other tapa yet. This has really just been a, I guess if it had been painted at the same tapa, you could move it through faster, but we quickly joined the top and bottom through that red logic to get to here. It's actually interesting if these blue clues are from the same tapa, there's really only 2 ways those could look. It could be these cells or just this cell. So the whole rest of the grid is going to have to be from the dark gray clue. So that's going to force a lot of things real fast here. So this 1, 1, 1 is immediately forced, and these are unused. I'll actually just start to mark off some stuff. We know for sure that these clues are now all dark gray, so can mark things like this in. We can't come up here. That 1, 1 is going to be forced. This is for connectivity. This is a last clue around here. We've got to get the look of a 2, 4 around this clue, so these 2 cells, and this cell will always be shaded. With that marked in, actually for the 2, 3 above it, we've got 2 marked in, and these 2 with this 3rd marked in, so that will always need to be shaded. We've got this isolated stretch over here, and that's got to take this to be connected. Let's see if there's more we can do. So again, these cells around the 2, 3 are finished, so this cell must be used. Marking this one off is actually what's going to give us another key shading in the grid, which will be this one. And we now see we've got an isolated bit around the center that's going to come through to be connected. And so there's actually now connectivity that's broken unless we come through this left edge. That gets to the top here. We take this cell, and now we've got our last tapa, just those three. Look at that. So I think this was a little bit of, we're not that close to April Fools, but I would actually call this a little bit of an April Fools challenge from Serkan, in that a whole set of this puzzle would have solved like a regular tapa, but by thinking there was a separate thing that could be hidden, we had to approach it more delicately. But in connecting the top and the bottom of the grid through how I was doing some shading of clues and connection through these one-on-ones, we got to where this lower left was exclusively the other tapa. And that really freed up the rest of the puzzle. So it's almost like removing the variation was the key middle aha moment to then get the rest of the puzzle to just flow. So I hope we got a sense of how I approach this solve, how you can track tapa in general, and this tricky variation. And we'll see you again soon.